Global statistics projects that 466 million people are experiencing hearing loss, representing about 5% of the world's population. Who could these people be? They could be our families, friends, co-workers, and perhaps even your next-door neighbor. In 2021, the World Health Organization projected that by 2050, nearly 2.5 billion would represent 1 out of 4 people will be living with some degree of hearing loss. What does this mean? It's not all gloomy after all. In the world of AI, there are several possibilities. What if technology could give a voice to those who cannot speak? What if a simple hand gesture could be instantly translated into text, breaking communication barriers forever? Today, we zoom into Africa, in a country called Ghana, where we interact with a Ghanaian innovator and a brilliant mind behind the sign language typing system. His name is Mark Hill Ampoma. His innovation could soon transform how the world communicates. From a childhood spark in a computer lab to developing a life-changing technology, Mark's journey is nothing short of inspiring. Alright, Mark, so you're welcome to Eduspotlight, where we highlight change makers across the globe. Today, we want to find out a little bit of background, what really inspired you to create this change, where did the interest come from?
I got interested in somewhere primary, that about 12. My IT teacher was interested in showing me more stuff, so he always welcomed me to the IT lab and showing me this hard disk, this keyboard, this mouse, doing a whole lot of things. So that thing got me interested. So growing up, all my idea was how can I use technology to help solve the problem?
Wow.
And that time I wasn't knowing anything about technology as currently technology has grown up to. So on my journey in my education, I tried to pursue BSc in information technology, which got me interested in the technology stuff. So that thing really opened the door for me, knowing more about the technology. So with my knowledge so far, I wanted to use the technology currently we have improve the lives of people. By doing so, you need to teach, you need to learn before you can reach that far. So basically, that's it.
Lovely. I know for many people it could be influence from peers, or it could be their religious background, it could be their cultural background. But for Mark, ladies and gentlemen, he said that when he was growing up, he got exposed to ICT tools when he was, Mark, was it primary school that you had this encounter, or it was in secondary school?
Primary school.
Primary school, and you got introduced to ICT tools, and it got you curious, and you were like, how could I use these tools to solve problems? And even back then, it wasn't as advanced as it is now, right?
Yes, please.
Great. So, yeah, I'm really glad you're talking about this. Earlier, you mentioned that quality education is something you're more passionate about as far as the United Nations SGD is concerned. Now, how did you channel this passion into problem solving? And what would you say is the major problem you have solved or you are currently solving, and which is related to the SGD, Mark?
The project I'm working on is how the deaf and the dumb can be able to communicate well within our community. So through proper communication, they can be able to educate themselves very well, and we also can understand them. So when we understand each and everyone within our community, that will help us provide them with their needs, and also what they have to, they can be able to share with us. So doing that will help solve some of the SDG goals.
Wow, Mark, it is very impressive how you are able to connect your recent innovation and several other SGDs. I really know that people with disabilities are a great part of community, and their disabilities do not define them. I'm really glad you're bringing out this perspective, Mark. I want to know a little bit about how did you decide that this is the project that you want to do? Because come to think of it, you could have done any other thing. So what we want to know today is that why did Mark choose that I'm going to develop a software that will help deaf and dumb people be able to communicate?
With this innovative in mind, say from my first project I worked on as my final year student, we work on something called breast cancer detection, which is able to detect malignant and benign images. The benign images are the non-cancerous tissues, but in medical terms they call it benign. That's non-cancerous, and in malignant in medical terms for cancerous tissue they call it malignant. So in our project we're able to develop something that's benign, detect the benign from the malignant. So if you go to the hospital, you need to only take the mammogram image, so it will reduce the usage of the doctor have to just pick the image and show it for a light rays to be able to fish out what is actually going in down there. So after that project, then I sat down and realized that no, we have people within our community which are deaf and dumb, like hearing impairment, which we communicate to them. So like, how are we communicating to them with these people like having the hearing impairment issues? So based on that, that came to mind. Let me do something that can really help us communicate with them effectively. That's why I got that idea from. So I started searching like how do they do their science, start learning some science from them. So basically I learned how they do the alphabets and numbering system. That so doing the research process that got me, okay, then let me build some AI tool that can be able to do that. And also doing that, it will fit into our already video conferencing platforms we already have. So that when we are having conversation through a video conferencing, it will like it will have we will have in sync. They will not left out because of their hearing impairment. Within these video conferences, you might not even see the person's face. So whatever he has to communicate, you won't even feel it. So, but with the help of the system, the person can even show you what he or she wants to say by communicating using the signs he knows, and you too don't know the sign. So when he sign it, it will translate it to you. Then from there, you will know what he actually wants to say.
Wow.
That's basically.
Wow, this is very impressive. I have two questions, but let me get to the first one. So, one question that comes to mind is that did you have someone aside, like you mentioned people in society, did you have a close person or someone, whether in school or someone in your workplace or someone in your family, any close person that had a disability that you had to work with or you had to do something with, and you thought about this person, and you were like, okay, if I'm able to come up with something like this, it's going to help this person as well as the larger society?
I don't have someone, but let me say this. Doing this project, then I got a reflection way back JHS. I used to have a friend who used to learn. He has, let me say, a family member who has hearing impairment. So with that, so when he comes to school, the person will just sign in as like their signs, because his brother has taught him how to do the signs. So doing this project, then I got that reflection that, oh, this is what that person was doing way back from primary school. So actually I don't have anything, but within the tech space, we have people who are very good in programming, in coding and everything. But with this hearing impairment, when you bring them on board to work on the project, it makes it very difficult because you can't hear them, they too can't hear you.
Wow,
So
this is very impressive.
A person who wants to be in tech space, I need to find a solution for this so that anywhere you find yourself, you can communicate with less limitations.
Wow, I really am glad you are mentioning this, because it brings up an interesting discussion on how different voices from some marginalized populations could be heard as far as decision making is concerned. So my next question is that I know this may be daunting and it may come with a lot of challenges, but what would you say are some specific challenges that you faced whilst you were trying to put this project, Mark?
One of the biggest challenge I face is, let me start from the hardware component. The system in here I used to run the models to build to train the model was not all that, highly equipped.
Okay.
So I need to massage things so that's why in the project you can only see for the letters. You can't see for phrase or a word, like one word together. So that's one of the limitations. If I want to keep track of all this one word together, my laptop won't be efficient for that work.
Okay.
It will either crash. So that's one of the limitations. That one was like how I get the data for this project, like the data collection. I need to get someone who has a bit knowledge about the science to take pictures and also know that this sign shows exactly what is it, and bridge the gap. You see, from Ghana and from Ghana and US, there are different sign within exactly. So I need to map all those things which can make the application robust. That's another challenge. And the last challenge is like to be able to bring like everything together, like the whole concept together, like brainstorming day in and day out, trying to work on and improve it, because it wasn't an easy work.
Wow.
Always keep on track. Sometimes you reach, like you run it, and all of a sudden your machine will just go off. So when it goes off, you've lost everything. You need to start the process again, then monitor how everything works. And the saddest thing is, the first one I did, it was recognized, but not as effective as this one. So the issue was how can you make this thing effective, like the robot? Yeah. So with that, I need to just have to do a lot of research, learn more with the knowledge I had then, so that I can improve. So basically, that was the challenge that I faced.
Wow. I get this and I understand how some of these things play out. So, Mark, would you say a MacBook is going to be a good device to be able to run these applications, or you may need something more powerful than that?
Okay, MacBook might run, but I may need something more, because how I wanted to build the system, it needs more powerful system, but MacBook.
Okay. And with the data, so if you have an institution that is ready to provide you people who are going to collaborate and get the data for you, how is that going to impact the project you are making?
That one is going to impact it very much, because that one, you know that you are using, we call it real data, real time data, not synthetic data. So real data is different from synthetic. You see, the synthetic, you have some real, some not real. So it might not get the better balance, but if you get the real data that's on grounds, that one will help improve the performance.
So this is our last question, Mark, and we'll bring the conversation to a close. So what is your conception, or how do you see an ideal world? What do you hope for as far as your project is concerned? And you can let us know the name of your project.
Okay. As far as this project is concerned, I want this project to bridge the gap between how we communicate within our society. If someone has a hearing impairment within a meeting, the person can freely communicate without he or she feeling that I'm not part of it. But with the system, he can express his or her thoughts. If they are able to voice it out, it will help improve the progress or help solve some of the issues we are having right now within our world. So with this idea, the person can bring out and the person can see what sign whatever he wants to do. Maybe we can voice what we have out might even going contrary to what actually the problem is. We will be putting about the bush, but with the person with hearing impairment will be like, these people are beating about the bush, but how will they hear me? So with the system, it will bridge that gap. So he will be free to communicate his or her idea to the public, and they won't be left isolated because there is a system that is breaking the communication barrier within those who can voice and hearing impairment people. Just break that. But if I'm able to give this project a name, so I have not sat down.
You've not sat down. That is fine.
Yeah, I have not sat down.
Yeah, as it goes on, I'm sure you have a name for it, Mark, and I'm rooting for you. So, did you incorporate some coding languages like Python, Java? What is the IT bit? You use some coding methods, right, and machine learning, right?
Exactly. I use machine learning, which basically in machine learning, which we use Python. That's the programming language I use, and with the model I use random forest, which help me, which I leverage on to train the model. So basically, that's the whole concept.
Lovely. So, okay, before your final words, a lot of people when they see this, they might think that it is only meant for people who are deaf and dumb. But how would you say that, Mark, your innovation not only is beneficial to people who are deaf and dumb, but people who are also not deaf and dumb? How would they be able to leverage this tool as well? What are the possibilities?
The possibility is, like you see right now, our video conferencing app like Zoom, and also with the Google Meet, and also currently I've seen Google is also developing Google glasses. So with these tools, we can incorporate this sign so that whenever let me say the Google Glass, if I have the Google Glass and someone in front of me is communicating with me using the sign, it can be able to interpret what the person is saying, so I can understand what the person have for me.
Wow.
And also with that, I can with this tool too, I can use it to learn some of their things and how they do their science.
This is great. This is great, Mark. I really am rooting for you, and I'm hopeful how this is going to go. I'm sure this is not going to be our last conversation. We continually be with you, and we try as much as we can to get partners on board to be able to make this project a success. It's been wonderful talking to you, Mark, and I would say I'm really, really privileged to have this time to discuss this with you. What are your final words, Mark, to all the young people out there who oftentimes think that solutions are somewhere and they are not able to realize their dreams? Maybe they are not curious enough, or something is happening. What would you say to motivate all the young people in Africa and across the world who, like you, maybe have a very bright mind, but they've not been able to actualize themselves and use their bright mind to solve problems?
Okay, thank you, Daniel. What I have to say is, everything you have to do, begins with test. The proverb is not coming, but like whatever you want to do, it begins with a step, and whatever you want to do,
a journey of 1,000 miles
begins with a steps. Yes, and also a little drop of water makes a mighty ocean. So with this, you have to sit down. What do I have to do to help the world be a better place? And the second thing I want to do is like education is the key to success. Without education, without me learning more about this, I won't be able to come up with this innovation and innovative system. So you have to learn. You have to learn. Keep on learning. But maybe the things you are learning now might be like it's not really helpful. As in back way, let me say JHS, my ICT teacher was showing me keyboard. That time I don't know what exactly the use of keyboard is. But as growing up, I get to know that no, keyboard is used to type. Keyboard is used to, like, if you want to communicate with the computer, you need to type on the keyboard, and the keyboard will translate what you are typing so that the computer can process it. So sometimes we feel like what we are doing now is not all that relevant. Like someone doing, let me say, linear algebra and calculus. You might say calculus is not really important, but if you go to the world of AI and machine learning, that's the most mathematics people they are using to develop these models. But way back, you learn it, you know that no, these things are like it's not for me. But keep on learning, keep on pressing. You get to where you want to. You have to utilize what you've learned to bring a solution to help the world be a better place.
Wow. I'm listening to this conversation. I'm listening to all you are saying, and Mark, I keep nodding and nodding and nodding. I really love your insights. You are very knowledgeable, and I'm glad we had this time to communicate. And just as I said earlier, this is not going to be our last conversation. We will constantly keep in touch with you, and we will be talking more about this project. It's been wonderful talking to you today, Mark, and I hope that this project is going to gain lots of attention, and you're going to get the needed support that you need to be able to take this project to the next level. And Edutricity would want to thank you for your availability coming here on the talk platform to let the world know about what you are doing and how this could revolutionize how marginalized communities like deaf and dumb people are able to have a voice at the decision making table. Bye everyone, this is Eduspotlight.